Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name is HDTGeorge, and yes, I know I need to shave. There's a reason for my disheveled appearance. Just calm down. So, weekend's over. Mine was an adventure. How was yours? Let me know down below. So it started off with something of a return to my old stomping grounds. I came out of semi-grill cook retirement, pulled a couple of shifts at a place that I most recently worked at called Augusta's here in town. With COVID, they've been having some staffing problems, and then just the general staffing problems that the service industry seems to be experiencing at the moment. I had the unique opportunity to actually get to go back and help out a little bit, and so I did. And it was a reminder of why I had to leave the service industry. It was busy, and I am old, and those two things don't really mix. It's not that I can't do it anymore. I'm just unwilling to pay that price. I do love cooking. I did love being a grill cook. There's a lot of adventure to be had in the world of food service, but as I said, I've just reached that point where I don't feel like I want to have to go and put my body on the line like that. No hate, good job, good people, good time. But as I've said a million times, and I will say a million times more, getting old is fun. Being old is not. And I am closely approaching the point of being. So that was the first half of the weekend. I've also quit smoking cigarettes. No, nobody be applauding me yet. I've been in a constant state of quitting cigarettes for the last 10 years of my life now. But we're taking an honest run at it. Unfortunately, all of the nicotine replacement therapies, whatever they're called now, gum, patches, things like that, for some reason they all seem to cause me heart palpitations, which the doctor says is not a big deal, and I'm still a little wary of. So we are raw dogging it. Just complete cold turkey. So I'm gonna be a little cranky and a little bit out of it for a while, but it's another thing that has to be done. So I might as well get on with the getting on. So I'm getting on with the getting on. So we'll see how that happens. And then lastly, I was up way too late last night playing the newly revamped Trials of Osiris on Destiny 2. All I can say is kudos, Bungie. It is a somewhat better experience, having the cheaters gone and things like that. I don't think that it has necessarily become easier. I do believe that it has become much more rewarding to go in there and sweat it out. Have yet to go flawless. I'm a little mad about that. We're gonna see. We're still on it. There's still a day. I'm going back in. Last night I played with Jacob and Sugar, but I had to pull them over to the PC where I play with controller. And let's just say, every round we did phenomenally. Until we faced people who were obviously PC players on mouse and keyboard. And then we got stomped. There is a disparity there, hard to overcome. But that's okay. I know that, having played controller on PC for the last year. The real truth of playing controller on PC is that generally it's not that bad until you get into an actual competitive environment. And that's where the difference in input methods finally starts to show itself for real. But I have fired up and am downloading the latest patches in Destiny 2 on the PS4 Pro. I'm going to go back to console with them like a pleb and see if we can maybe make flawless happen over there. Believe me, going back to 30 frames is not what I want to have to do. But seeming as how Sony and Xbox and everybody else that needs chips to make their electronics decided to launch things during the most chipless period in recent history, if not all history. You can't put your hands on a PS5 or an Xbox. Not the new gen stuff, and I've got the old gen, so I don't need that. So, anyway, gonna be firing up the PS4. Gonna be over there. I'm gonna do some solo queue on PC with the controller just to get kind of a feel for what's going on and see what we can find out. But anyway, that's been my experience with Trials so far. Now, if you look online, you're going to see a lot of people posting various tweets from various services like Trials Reports and Bungie themselves talking about how successful this weekend has been. I find it strange that people want to play a game when it actually rewards their time. Now, I'm not some populist, sweats hater, eat the elite kind of guy. I think that people that are at that level should be rewarded for being at that level. But the problem has been, in my personal opinion, that Destiny 2 has kind of veered off in that direction. So hear me out. You spend all this time revamping and reworking Trials, the last Trials, not this new version, but the last version. And a lot of time and effort went into it. And it all amounted to nothing because it was still the old same Trials system. The reason the new one is better, one, finally taking cheating seriously. I don't understand how anybody that runs an online FPS game doesn't understand or is incapable of correcting the fact that allowing people to cheat somehow ruins the experience for the people that don't want to cheat. Now, that's a very hot take, and I know that Bungie didn't want cheaters in the game, but not wanting them and doing something about it, two very different things. And now they have finally gotten on the bus of doing something about it, and lo and behold, people want to play the game. Same goes for rewards. Look, I know, going to the lighthouse now is not nearly as prestigious as it was. I know that, because I went some of the old times. And it felt really good to spend an entire weekend just getting worn out in crucibles. Look at me, down at the Walmarts, getting worn out in the crucible, you know. But then you go to the lighthouse and you're like, you know what? This was worth it. The problem comes in when you spend an entire weekend getting worn out in the crucibles and then you don't go to the lighthouse. Now, I know life is made up of days that you're not going to achieve the thing that you wanted to, but the new trial system has figured out it's not really about going to the lighthouse. Don't get me wrong, I am as susceptible to worrying about my KD as the next guy, the next normal guy. Some people do take it too far. I don't think that it should necessarily dictate part of your personality, but it does say something about your ability to play the game. But the new trial system rewards you just for participating. And as much as I know a lot of people out there hate the idea of participation trophies, this game is a looter shooter. Got to let the loot go. I think this has been one of the things that Bungie seems to have been, I'm not going to say clueless about. I know that they have some idea. And I know that giving loot away willy-nilly is not going to encourage people to then come back and do the thing that you need to do to get the loot. But there is a line to be walked there. And I do think for a time, a lot of the game has been geared towards end game. It's strange. As I was saying earlier, you spend all this time and effort to develop something, and then you gatekeep it behind drip-fed content, power check, talent check, things like that. It's one of the reasons that I find it strange that we're still sticking to raids when dungeons and just standard content has proven to be the most engaged with. Why are you going to spend all this time building a raid that nobody wants to come play? But that's part of the loot system. I'm going to do an actual legit video about that eventually. But let's just wrap all of this up by saying, good on you, Bungie. Right on. Trials seems to have been a resounding success. I don't think we can take our foot off the gas yet, though. We'll see how it plays out over time. I do think a lot of the lack of cheating that we're seeing probably has to do with the fact that everybody's feeling it out. And you know as well as I do that cheaters are resilient, and they'll be back. Hopefully we'll be able to deal with them. You're also going to have to deal with just general content burnout. It's a 6-month season. I don't know that people are going to keep on coming back to Trials for 30 weeks. And while it doesn't necessarily matter whether or not they come back, it is going to matter in the fact that keeping the player population up is what's making it feel so fun right now. When there are a bunch of wild blueberries running around the Crucible, playing in the Crucible feels better. Because instead of playing the sweats, you've got a higher chance of playing the blueberries. And I know there's skill-based matchmaking involved, and I know there's a bunch of people crying about that, and I have things to say about that too that I will say at a later date. Because I am getting close to being out of time. I'm definitely out of breath. But let's just cap this off by saying I had a great weekend. Trip back to Augusta's was good. Quitting smoking is going well, ish. New Trials in Destiny 2. I'm going back in as soon as I get done with the walk here. I'm going to talk about it a little more extensively at a later date. I've got to get the actual video content as opposed to the behind the video content, because I'm doing a bunch of behind the scenes content for videos that aren't up yet. They're just skeletons in my mind. But I'm going to be taking care of that soon as well. But I got to get that Adept. I got to get my Flawless. I need that Adept Shiera's. And access to re-rolling copies of it. So anyway, I've babbled at you enough. I'm going to finish this, get back to work or cooking dinner or whatever it is that you're going to be doing today. Know that I love you all. Like and subscribe. You want to drop some comments, you got some ideas for things you want to hear me talk about, let me know. You can follow me across all social media at HDTGeorge.com. There is a Patreon, check it out. It's got first run merch on it. It's the only place you can get Hot George merch. There will be more merch coming eventually, but right now I'm actually working on trying to get the content going before I get the money grubbing going. So we're on that. Thank you all very much for watching. Again, feel free to say hi, follow me, do all the things that make the algorithm horny. Have a good day. I hope I'll see you again soon. And as always, remember, fight the status quo.